Hey there, everybody. This is a map tutorial that talks about how to map the relationship between rental parcels and their landlords. And so there's been a few folks publishing in geography. Taylor Shelton is one of them, most prominently, who's tried to highlight the property relationships so that when we're looking at say things like evictions, that we're not just focusing on the parcels where evictions are happening, but thinking about who's implicated in that process through the process of landlord ownership and extraction of rent and capital from those who are renting from substandard properties. And so I'm just going to walk through a quick walkthrough of how that would work in ArcGIS Pro. You can also do this in QGIS. I think it would take a little more elbow grease. So it's fairly straightforward in Arc. I'm going to go ahead and close these windows. And so I'm just going to walk you through them. So this is some parcel data that is available for Athens, Georgia. This is by Memorial Park, right in kind of the middle of Athens. I got it. It's public data. Parcel data is often public. If your municipality has a good open data policy, I got it from the Athens-Clarke County Open Data website. And if you look at the attribute table for these data, what you'll see is it's got both the parcel information here, things like the address, but also some information on the parcel owner. And that includes their address, city, state, and zip. Right? And that's really all we need here, because all we're going to do is just identify where is the parcel and where is the owner. And we're going to draw a line between them. That's the basic part of this process. So let's start with that first part. Where is the parcel? So we're going to go under Analysis. We're going to open our toolbox. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to collapse these polygons down to points. So let's go ahead and do Feature to Point, which is one of the tools here in the toolbox. And we'll take our polygons and we're going to change them to a point layer. I'm going to go ahead and save them in my local computer. In my layer. So I'm just going to call it parcel centroids. Right. Click Save. I want to make sure this is in a coordinate system that's going to use decimal degrees, so I'm just going to go ahead and pick that here. I'm going to go for good old WGS 84. Click OK, and click Run. There we go. So there's our parcel points. And I should say here I filtered here for just basically rental properties, and by that I mean residential properties that don't have a homestead exemption. And so that's what I'm using as a proxy. And you can tell a lot of these are kind of apartment building or condos kind of units here that are being rented. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We've got our geoprocessing done. The second geoprocessing piece that I want to do is I'm just going to go ahead and be upfront about this and add the XY coordinates to those points. And this is why I wanted to make sure that I had this in the right projection to start with. So if I do parcel centroids, go ahead and run it. There we go. So now if I open my attribute table and scroll over here, there we go. I've got this is where the points where my parcels are. Got that part. So now let's do the landlords. This is a little more complicated. So what we're going to do is we are going to go under Data, and we're going to export this as a table. Save it, same thing in my local working project folder. I'm going to just call it parcel centroids.csv. Save it as CSV table. Save, OK, it gets added to the map. And now I can geocode my locations. So I'm going to click on Geocode Addresses. My input table is parcel centroids. I'm going to use the World Geocoding Service. So this is something where it assumes that you have an ArcGIS Pro license and you've got geocoding enabled. And what you'll notice is it already picks up on these city, state, and zip fields. Remember, we've got the landlord information here, right? So we've got the owner name, owner ad, city, state, and zip. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I'll go ahead and add in the owner address too and just see what it does with that. Mostly going to be in the United States. And I'm just going to keep it in the default location when it runs. Okay, there we go. And you'll see actually in many cases these owners are pretty local. Let me zoom to layer, but you can see that there's also several that are outside of Metro Athens, right? There's a lot of places where these owners reside besides just here. Okay, so now we have these owner points. Actually, if we open this up, you'll see that we've got the X and Y coordinates for those folks. There's so much geocoding output right here. So we're going to make this table a little tidier. I'm going to go ahead and export this out again so that we can join it back to our parcel data points, our parcel centroids. So now I'm going to do landlord points.csv. Save that. I'll go back and find where this is. I believe it is right in here. Let me pull it up off screen because y'all don't need to see my full structure here. Data. And my landlord points. Oops, do that. Here they are. Here they are. So all I need from this are three things. I'm going to need those X and Y coordinates. I'm going to go ahead and grab those here. There they are. And then the parcel number, which is right here. So I can join them back. Right? And I'm going to call this X zone and Y zone so I can keep them straight, which one's which. Save that. I'm actually going to rename the file to, just because Arc gets so picky about data structure. So I'm going to call this landlord points 1. And we should be good to go. Close this. I'm going to remove this layer. And now if I go to catalog, pane, refresh my, oops, hold on. This is the wrong folder. It's in here. Refresh this. There it is. So there's my landlord points 1. I'm going to join this back to my parcel centroids. So now I've got this layer has my parcel XY. This layer has my landlord XY, and I'm going to join them together, right? So let's do a join, add join. We're going to do it by the parcel number. Oops. That's the wrong layer. This one is the one I want. Join, add join. Parcel number, we're going to join to the landlord points 1, and it's the user parcel number because I added user there. Click OK. And then we're going to save one more time. We're going to export this. We'll just save it as a feature layer and see if that does it. Export features. Boom. Arc's being a little picky. There we go. So now, let's close this. We'll open it again. Geoprocessing. Coordinate to 2-point line. Now we want this one. Now we want X zone. There we go. Point X. Point Y. Zone and Y zone. We cross our fingers, we say a little prayer, and go ahead and hit run. Close our attributes tables. And here it comes. There we go. So now we have a map of each parcel to its owner, and we can see, there's a pretty good cluster in the Athens area, but there's also several in North Atlanta. So Atlanta is right over here. You can see lots of those points, and if we go even beyond that, we see some national coverage here as well. So that's just a quick walkthrough, mostly problem-free, of how to do landlord lines in ArcGIS Pro.